So we're going to give you some advice on pitching now. Pitching basically encompasses everything from a full swing down to a chip shot. So quite a lot of yardage is involved in that. Your pitching wedge goes about 110 yards.
Yep.
You wouldn't chip from more than about 30 or 40 yards. So therefore you've got 70 or 80 yards in there that you need to fill. And obviously you'd like to dial those yardages in quite well so that you can get close to the flag when you've got a short iron in your hand. But it's impossible to actually say, well, I'm going to practice really hard and know every yardage, know that this swing goes 97 yards, this one goes 92, this one goes 85. So the theory that we've come up with over the years is that the simple thing to do is have a full swing which you've already got, then develop a 3/4 swing and a half swing. And the way I like to think about it is if a full swing, your arm goes to about 11 o'clock, a half swing would be 9 o'clock, so your left arm parallel to the middle of the clock face, parallel to the ground, and a 3/4 swing about 10 o'clock. And by doing that, if you have 3 different lengths of swing and you've got 3 different wedges with a pitching wedge, a sand wedge, maybe a lob wedge as well, now you've got 9 different yardages that are going to be covered by just 3 different golf swings. So the first thing I'm going to get you to do, Simon, is knock one away. We're going to get Rory to come in and help you with your setup as he does, your guide. And I'm going to get you to knock one away a full swing with this pitching wedge to start with. So we can have a look at that. So a full swing would encompass a full size stance, the full length grip of the club, and a full size swing and a pivot. Beautifully done. It is really hard to believe at times that this guy can only see 3% of vision. It's just fantastic for me to witness a world champion blind golfer. That was a beautiful golf shot. Now, in order to bring that down, that one's gone about 110 yards as we say. Now suddenly you've got a shot of about 85, 90 yards. What I'd like you to do is scale down your setup a little bit, so narrow your stance slightly, go down the grip of the club a little bit, which will reduce its leverage, and then make a swing which is a 10 o'clock swing rather than an 11 o'clock swing, or a less than full swing, so a 3/4. Okay, and by making those little adjustments in your setup, narrowing your stance, gripping down the club and losing its leverage, Rory's coming in to line you up, and making a slightly shorter swing. You can say basically making what feels like the same swing. It's still an aggressive move through the ball. Lovely, well done. Slightly down the left wing, but those adjustments that we made there, where you narrowed your stance, you went down the grip a little bit and you made a smaller swing, took about 20, 25 yards off that. Yeah. So that's a great thing to have in your armoury, that you can just make these modifications. We'll do it also with a half swing now. So Rory's going to come back in and set the club well down the grip of the club this time. So you're almost down to almost on the steel, good. Really quite a narrow stance. So again, a reduced equation in terms of your stance size, which will mean that you can't make quite as big a stronger pivot. And again, naturally now you're going to swing shorter, but just a half swing, just a 9 o'clock type of swing. Lovely. So there we can see how by modifying the setup very slightly, just changing your hand position on the club, by narrowing your stance and shortening your swing, you've now got 3 completely different lengths of shot out of your pitching wedge, and you could get 3 different shots from your lob wedge and also, you know, your middle wedge, your sand wedge. Yeah. So now you've got 9 yardages covered. You can obviously use the TrackMan, use one of these devices, the launch monitor, to determine how far each of those shots go. This is a method I use with Richard Bland, who's a tour pro that I teach, who now plays on the Live Tour, and it literally changed his life because he'd been trying to hone his skill practicing all the different yardages. And when eventually we went to this system where we just said, have a 9 o'clock, a 10 o'clock and an 11 o'clock swing, he's now got 9 yardages that he's absolutely dialed in on. And I can literally say to him, right, hit me 195 yards, and he goes to his 3/4, 10 o'clock swing with a pitching wedge or whatever it is, and out comes that yardage. And it's got him much closer to the flag than he used to be, making many more birdies, and he went into the top 50 in the world, won for the first time at the British Masters at the age of 48, the oldest winner on the European Tour at that stage. So it really did change his life, and I think it can change the club golfer's life as well. If they practice those 3 yardages or 3 different lengths of swing with the modifications, you can really dial in those wedges without having to try and get every yardage under the tap. So great work, well done.
Thank you.